This is Ethan Wenz interviewing Babs Moore. Thank you for interviewing first off. So, how many years have you attended the church?
That's hard to say, but I moved to Mount Vernon when I was a freshman in high school in 1949. So I have attended the church when I've lived in town ever since then. There was a 28-year period, actually plus 4 years of college, when I was not here. But when we retired and came back in '83, naturally that was my home church.
Came back.
We were married in that church. Three kids were all brought back and baptized in that church, so I have a long history in that church.
What is one of the most enjoyable parts of your weekly church experience?
I would guess probably choir rehearsal.
What's one of the best ways that you think the church has benefited Mount Vernon as a whole community?
Oh, our church building has been like a town center. Now we have the First Street building, the old, what was my high school 100 years ago. But that church has always supplied a place to meet for Boy Scouts, for Campfire Girls, for Girl Scouts, for AA every Saturday night. And anytime anyone wants to have a function, and even weddings and funerals, if people feel their church isn't large enough, they use our church. So ours really has been a community center for forever.
That's awesome. What events does the church do to kind of sponsor and help grow the town every now and then?
Well, I think probably housing all of those
Same events?
Yes, those events. They have a table out to welcome the Cornell students every fall. They always supply a large food booth for the town's celebration of Heritage Days, which is a fundraiser for the church, but it also supplies food for all the parade goers, etc. on Heritage Days.
What is one of the biggest changes you've witnessed in the church over your time?
Over the time, probably the fact that always we had one service, then we had two services, and they were identical. And now we have a very large worship and praise service, which just is really bringing in large numbers of young families. And so I think the fact that now we can offer two decidedly different services is a service to the church people and a service to the community, because it has attracted people that probably weren't attracted to a traditional service.
The church's role of that kind of community center, do you think it's been consistent, or do you think it's been added to, changed? Or?
Oh, I think it's constantly changing, but those groups that I mentioned have been ongoing for many, many, many years. So I would say we've been back 30 years now, and they were all functioning at the time then. So I would say probably 50, 60 years. And I think that once in a while there may be another small group in the town that needs to use it temporarily, but I haven't seen a lot of change in that.
You mentioned that new style of worship in the first service. Do you think that's helping grow Mount Vernon as a community, or just the church?
I do. I think when young people, and I keep saying young people, but I do think that when people are looking for a town to live in, to move to, they are looking for a good school system, and I think they're looking for a compatible church. And I think people church shop. Yes, yeah. So I would say yes. Mm-hmm.
That's good. What have been some of the hardships the church has gone through while you've attended?
Well, while I've attended, probably I was going to say that many, many, many years ago it burned down and it was rebuilt. But since I've attended, I think probably the financial struggles. And most churches go through this. But it's a very interesting, our church has an interesting history in that readily, when we decided 25 years ago to redo the sanctuary, we paid it off in 2 years. We decided to refurbish the parsonage, we paid it off in 2 years. But we're always in arrears in trying to just pay the light bill and salaries. People just don't seem to, when they can hop on board for a special project, but trying to make people to understand that they have to help pay the electric bill. And that's a problem. That's the trials that we go through. And sometimes we think we're absolutely in dire straits, going to have to cut staff, and then somehow a miracle happens and we pull it off. Someone or several, a number of people come through and pick up the slack, and we're back on our feet again. So financial struggles are the ones. We've had a few struggles with pastors, but right now things are just going great. But yeah, and there are committees within the church that handle that for us. So we work through them, and I think all works out.
I know a little while ago there was a need for a new organ, and we all know that those aren't cheap. Was that a really hard thing to try to convince a lot of people now that you've got that influence of the worship style service? Was that a hard thing to accomplish, or was it just kind of...
That's very interesting that you should ask that, because we thought it would be. $465,000 is just blew you away. We were very fortunate, though. Because I'm an old-timer within the church and grew up with a lot of people who now have done very well and have the means to help us, but have no connection with this church anymore. We sat down and wrote letters to some of those people that I happened to have addresses for and was able to locate, and asked if they would consider, knowing that their parents were extremely active in our church, asked if they would be willing to consider a gift toward the organ in memory of their parents, to honor their parents, and they were very generous. And so the money came in, and we were about $150,000 short, and we could not order the organ, and it would take 2 years to build it. Until we had the funds, we decided we would not go in debt for it. And a member of our church came forward and said, this person would finance the rest. Whatever we don't get, this person will finance and will give, not finance, but give, without interest, as a gift. And so we have the funds pledged, not all in hand, but pledged, and I believe we're going to make it, and we've been able to make our payments, and that organ will be put in use on Easter Sunday next spring.
Wow, that's really awesome, out of the kindness of their own hearts. Well,
it's absolutely amazing.
Thank you for sitting down and letting me have this interview.
You're welcome, Ethan. You're welcome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.